Welcome back to our KOIN 6 Town Hall. What ideas and solutions can Portland learn from other West Coast cities in solving the homeless problem?
Their medical services here, their mental health services are here, their food is here, their beds are here, their supplies, they're safe here, their pets are here. And it's a starting place. It beats the bricks, brother. I've been on the bricks. This beats the bricks, and everybody here will attest to the same thing.
This is a transitional shelter housing 300 people in San Diego. It's run by Alpha Projects. People here are assigned transition managers. Data is collected. The homeless here are immediately surrounded by the services they need. Their main mission? Get people off the streets now into transitional shelters instead of waiting on the streets for permanent housing.
It's like telling passengers on a sinking ship, hang tight, we're going to build you lifeboats sometime in the next 3 to 20 years. We're about immediate pathways off the streets that are humane, compassionate, but also cost-effective.
Welcome back to our town hall. We just heard from Drew Mosier, the executive director of the Lucky Duck Foundation in San Diego, and he joins us by Zoom right now. Drew, you said waiting for permanent housing is like telling people on a sinking ship, just hold on, we're building you the lifeboats, it's going to take a while. Does that mean you're against the pathway to eventually finding permanent housing?
No, absolutely not. I think we can all agree housing is an ideal outcome. What we're saying, if that's the only thing you focus on, it's like telling passengers on a sinking ship, hold tight, we'll build you some lifeboats sometime in the next 3 to 20 years, because it could take that long, if not longer. And so we're about funding immediate pathways off the streets, helping people find a bed with a roof and connection to a meal and warm meals and services. And really, they're called bridge shelters because that's exactly what they are. They're a bridge to a brighter future. And so given the sharp increase in numbers really throughout the West Coast, there has to be more immediately available beds so that people can move off the streets quickly into a safe, supportive environment, and then ultimately move into housing, which is just, it's a much more long-term, cost-effective approach.
And Drew, in the last week, you've just brought another bridge shelter on board, 150 bed capacity?
Yeah, there's a 150 bed shelter. It's a sprung structure that can go up very, very quickly. And this particular one, it'll provide up to 150 beds. Less than 6 months ago, the city and county of San Diego reached an agreement with the Lucky Duck Foundation to activate the structure. We donate the use of the asset and we cover the cost to put it up. And in this case, the city's providing the land and behavioral health supportive services, and the city will operate it 24/7 or provide the funding to the nonprofit organization, the Alpha Project, to operate it. And so it's important to note that this came online within 6 months of that agreement being reached, and not for like a half of the cost or a third of the cost of housing, but like a 15th or a 20th of the cost of adding or acquiring housing. So again, that's not to discredit housing, but it's meant to reinforce the critical need of those immediately available beds. And these bridge shelters can provide exactly that very quickly, very cost effectively, in a totally safe and humane environment that moves people off the streets quickly and onto a much safer and healthier path.
All right, Drew, let me get back to our audience here in the studio. So Drew Mosier from San Diego with the Lucky Duck Foundation that has an Oregon connection. They're bringing a 150-bed shelter online. From the concept to when it was on, it just took 6 months. And I know, Dan Ryan, you said sometimes we lack that urgency, and you struggled with bringing the Safe Rest Villages online.
Yes, we all struggled as a county, as a city, to build something new. And it's happening now, and that's what matters the most.
Yes.
What we really need neighbors to consider is when someone is suffering from homelessness, especially chronic homelessness, they often have multiple conditions, and they are suffering from isolation and shame. And so when they have the courage to receive those services, please receive them. Let them know that you see them and know that they're taking the right step at the right time. And with those services and in that safety zone that they're in, they're going to eventually build that resilience. And when we talk about the workforce problem, 3 years later, if they stay with that, they're going to be our best employees that are caring for other people who are also suffering from homelessness.
In our last segment, we talked about the lack of information. It's hard to access information to get people into treatment. They can't seem to work the county system. And during the commercial break, I said, wouldn't it be great if there was an app that these providers could go to, or you guys could go to and say, I've got a woman here with 2 kids, bing, here's an open shelter over here. The mayor stopped me during the commercial break and said what, Ted?
Well, I said we're already working on it. One of the things that I did recently through executive directive was create a street services coordination center to coordinate our efforts with nonprofits, with other governments, cut through the bureaucracy. And data is really important. It's kind of boring, but it's important, as these gentlemen indicated. And so we are now beta testing an app with our partners at the county to give real-time information to workers in the field about what's the shelter capacity, where can people go, what services are available, and that's going to be rolled out broadly soon.
And it seems like any place that has had some success with homeless, the first issue they conquered was consolidating, getting the information there. And you've said, do we need a homeless czar? What do we need? We need everyone on the same page, and an app like that would be a big step forward in doing that.
Same page, working together, looking at the same information at the same time.
Okay, that's what we're talking about, solutions. There's a solution there. It would be great to have this a year from now and say that is really working, and maybe we'll do that. We'll get everyone back here together a year from now. We only have a few minutes left, and I want to get to almost everyone I can. And I want you, in about 20 seconds, to give your final thoughts on what you want viewers to walk away with tonight. And let's start with our neighbors. Todd, if there's one thing you want viewers to walk away with tonight, what is it?
Our top priority should be clean, safe, and livable neighborhoods, period.
Okay. Mari, what would you want people to walk away with tonight?
I kind of think the same thing about Todd, that we just want a clean and a healthy environment for our kids in the neighborhood.
Vadim, what do you say?
There's plenty of money out there to solve this. We have $2.5 billion in new homeless taxes. We have over $800 million in housing. We need to work better together, and I think the coordination is a huge aspect of that. Thank you, Mayor. And I think also work with the neighborhood associations, work with individuals, get that feedback, come together as a city and have a plan. It's worked in San Diego. It's worked in San Antonio. It's worked in Houston. It's worked in Washington County and Gresham. Let's do it here.
Okay. Mika, what would you want folks to walk away with?
That the city and the county need to work together to develop social service programs or expand them so that residents know who to call when somebody's experiencing severe mental health or drug addiction.
And it seems like developing that app would go a long way in that. Terrence, you're out there every day with your Neighbors Helping Neighbors group, picking up trash, going through the homeless camps, talking to the homeless themselves. What do you want folks to walk away with tonight?
What I want folks to understand is that we need to continue to pressure our city leaders. We need action. Data, the old school way of thinking is not what we need right now. We're in an all-out state of emergency crisis. The money is there. Let's just get these things up. Vancouver has opened 2 safe rest villages in less than a year, and we have not opened up one. Actually, we shut one down because they said it was too violent.
Well, they are up and operating now. We have several.
Some of them, but the length of time that it has taken Oregon
urgency.
to do
you
that,
want urgency.
I want urgency behind them.
Marisa, what do you want folks to walk away with tonight?
I also agree that we need a call to our leadership at the city, the county, metro regional government, and the state to act with urgency. That urgency needs to be housing, not because we don't need alternative types of shelter, but that the amount of time and money it will take to spend on shelter could be better spent on acquiring housing. Housing does not have to be built from scratch, and that's a misnomer. So there are units out there, we can make it happen, and that is where our focus needs to be.
Let's get to our panel right now. And Shannon, what do you want folks to walk away with?
I think really it's important for me that people know there is a lot happening. We continue to house thousands of people every day, and I think one data point that I do want to share is we also saw 6,000 people who were newly homeless over the past 2 years. So the inflow of people falling into homelessness continues to impact what we see on our streets.
Dan, your turn.
Yeah, we have 3 that have opened. We have 2 opening in the next few weeks, and there are miracles that are going to take place behind those fences. And I encourage neighbors to lean in and to help with gardens and show your love and compassion.
Okay, Deborah Kafori.
We do have a sense of urgency. I want people to know that we are working very hard and that things are happening. 4,500 people in this last year ended up in permanent housing. We currently have almost 2,500 shelter beds. We are doing all of the things. We obviously need to do more. We need to continue to do more. But we are facing a tsunami with a 14% increase in rents this year, with more people becoming homeless every day. It really is, it is not just something that local government is going to be able to solve on our own. We need the state government. We need the federal government, who stopped building housing in the 80s. We can solve this problem. We have the answers here in this room. We can solve this problem. We just need to work together.
Mayor, I'll let you have the last word after I hear from some of our nonprofits. Alan, what do you want folks to walk away with?
Everybody has a story, and they have multiple obstacles in their life to re-enter society. We can't treat just 1 or 2 of them. We need to treat a person to help them become successful.
Crystal, quickly.
Every option needs to be available, and we need to stop fighting for each other. Like, our care belongs to each other. It takes all of us.
Scott.
You know, Jeff, I'm walking away from this. I want people to be optimistic, and I'm optimistic because of these neighbors here today. They're scared, they're frustrated, but I still heard from them compassion and understanding.
Yes.
They want these people to have help, and that is what is sustaining us, is that we have people who it's been hard for everybody, but we still have people who show up at Blanchet House at 6 a.m., 6 days a week to serve breakfast because of that compassion.
Okay. Mayor, you get the final word. I started with you. I'll end with you.
Very good. Well, thanks for putting this together, and thanks everybody for being here. Homelessness is complex. People are homeless for a lot of different reasons. The solutions, therefore, have to be diverse and multifaceted. I've heard our neighbors, and they expect us to do more and to do better. And that's our job.
How about this? How about a year from now, roughly a year from now, we'll get everyone back here. If you'd all come back, and we'll see what's improved. We can look back on this show, and I hear the word optimism from a lot of folks here, and hopefully that will be true. I want to thank everyone who took part tonight, our special panel, our nonprofit groups that are out there working with the homeless every day, and our neighbors. Thank you very much, and thank you for watching, everybody. This Town Hall, KOIN 6 Town Hall, the Unsheltered Truth, and be part of the solution. Don't just complain, get involved.